Hi everyone, Guy Giard, author of The Courage to Love, and I wanted to read to you the whole book once a week from 5 to 10 minutes as a gift to you and as a gift to change the world. So I love you all, and I'm also called Mr. Happiness, so let's see how this reading will go. I've just started fasting. This is my second day of fasting, and it's March 31st, 2023. The Courage to Love, From Abuse to Happiness, a Healing Memoir, with a foreword by Patch Adams. I'm really happy about the designers of the book. They did a beautiful job. You have a few testimonials in the first pages. It's written in 3 parts. And each part is made of about 10-15 chapters. I want it to be a short read in the sense that you could read like 5-6 pages in one sitting, and then if you want you can just go on to the other one. So, foreword by Patch Adams. I was thinking of imitating him, but I don't think that's the point here. I am so honored to write this foreword to Guy's book, which details his journey to heal from the nightmarish violence he experienced as a child. His remarkable recovery came about by discovering that giving love and fun to others who are suffering can put one's own suffering in perspective. It can also drive one to commit to a life of service, to love others and fun. This happens not through psychiatric analysis and medication, but rather by recovering and discovering one's own powers of love and fun, through clowning to ease the suffering of others. Guy first wrote to me in 2013, so actually this was 10 years ago, and shared his pain. I wrote back and invited him on a clown trip to a foreign destination, which was Guatemala. Why a clown trip, you ask? Let me give you some background information. I'm a physician who has found that fun as a friend and love are the essential tools for being a healthy doctor. In March of 1971, after obtaining my medical degree, I wanted a stress-free practice aided by being a doctor who never charged for money for care. I opened a radical medical clinic with the premise that all the permanent staff would live together in a communal eco-village. And we'd all make the same salary, $400 a month. The context for healing both practitioner and patient would be happy, funny, loving, cooperative, creative, and thoughtful, all in a creative hospital home setting. We operated this experimental hospital in our communal home from 1971 to 1983 and learned the great healing context of those 6 qualities. However, during that time, because we were unable to raise funds to keep the hospital going, I realized we would have to go public and use fame as a fundraiser. So we closed the hospital doors and I became a fundraiser. Unfortunately, within a year, I started to feel empty from not caring for patients. So in 1985, I started taking groups of people from ages 3 to 92 to foreign countries to bring love as clowns in hospitals, orphanages, nursing homes, prison, and more. I like to say that clowning is a trick to get a love dose. I have clowned since childhood and knew it had the power to bring joy to both the giver and receiver. But those who joined us on the trips were not required to have an experience as a clown to participate. Before meeting Guy, I had taken thousands of people from 50 countries on at least 150 trips. Many of them had previously corresponded with me so I often knew their stories. For those who were troubled, I suggested that they come on a clown trip and reconnect with their loving, playful self. For many, this opened up doors that not only stopped their suffering, but made them into playful cuddle buddies. I've had a large mail correspondence for 35 years and would get letters from people, many who said that the clown trips transformed their suffering. In due time, Guy would become one of my clowning buddies. Thanks, Patch. When I heard that 6,000 members of the armed forces killed themselves each year due to a lack of help from the medical profession, I decided to take some veterans on my clown trips. I wanted to make it free for the vets, so I tried for 7 years to raise 30,000 needed to have 10 vets and staff members to Guatemala for 1 week clowning trip. Finally, that first vet trip to Guatemala took place in 2014, and it stopped their suicidal suffering. We did it again the following year with 10 different veterans, and the results were the same. We made a film of the trip that really captures their transformation. At the San Jose Festival for the movie's world premiere in 2019, many of the vets were there in clown costumes, happy and loving. So, thank you, Guy. People like you who experienced profound suffering in the past that needed healing came on a clown trip, stayed in touch, and gave me the confidence to dare to do more trips for wounded warriors. Even as the son of a wounded warrior, I would not have such confidence without people like Guy sharing their vulnerability. And for those of you reading this who are suffering, try clowning for love and fun where you live and with your family. Or come on one of our clown trips. In peace, Patch. Wow. Preface. Dear friend, this book is my personal 58-year-long journey of living through the pain of loneliness, the excitement of daring new life's challenges, and ultimately the joy of finding purpose, love for myself, and for humanity. I wrote it with you, the reader, in mind, retracing my steps to give you hints of how I was able to heal myself from the hurt of childhood sexual abuse. Not only is this my autobiography, it is also a riveting adventure full of passion, art, music, humor, spanning across 3 continents, written in such a way that you feel as if you're along for the ride on an emotional roller coaster of a life. Everything you will read in these pages really happened. I've recreated the situations and conversation based on my recollections, correspondence, and diaries. But in some cases, I changed certain physical traits, names, professions, in the interest of protecting the privacy of the individuals whose paths I've crossed. However, a few passages may be sensitive and could potentially have a trigger effect for victims of past trauma. I chose to include these to help readers better understand the pains of abuse and the benefits of the healing process. More so, I have done so delicately and with respect. Lastly, as an added bonus, you can augment your reading experience with the artworks, music, composition, videos, and interviews described in this book, which are freely available online on my website, gigia.com. It is a virtual reality extravaganza that will allow you to immerse yourself in my healing journey. I wish such a book existed when I was at the beginning of my healing journey, but it didn't. So I decided to write it myself to be of service to all who feel that there is so much more to life than what they are living through presently. I'm gently handing you my story to you as a caring friend, as a life coach if it inspires you to undertake your own healing journey yourself. Then I will have reached my goal in writing this book. I have discovered love along the way, and I wish you the same. Have a wonderful journey. Love, Gigia. It's going a bit longer than I wanted, but still, let's start our journey together. Part 1. The Fall. Chapter 1. No Man's Land. The stage was ready and the cheers of fans exploded like fireworks. The stuffy hot bar was crammed from the entrance to the front row. 12 minutes, you guys. Get ready, the stage hand warned. I peered through the door across the dimly lit bar and saw my dad and my brother Mark drinking beers. They were squeezed at a table near the front, but this wasn't my dad's type of hangout. I knew he'd rather be in church pew watching me sing Mozart's Requiem or Vivaldi's Gloria. Not my brother Mark, though. He was in his element. Back when we were teens, he'd given himself the moniker the Great Rock and Roll Fan when he called the airwaves the Great Rock and Roll Fan on the airwaves when he called into the radio station Shom FM. Around the same time, he'd come to me with a new album saying, "Hey man, the Stones are awesome. You gotta listen to Jumping Jack Flash. It's a gas." When the stagehand gave the sign that it was our turn to take the stage, I heard the MC take the mic. "Welcome to the Piranha Bar," he shouted, extended the R sound and make it trill. "Is it hot enough for you? Are you ready to rock?" The people in the crowd stamped their feet and screamed. Staring at the three-little step I needed to walk up to get to the stage, I thought to myself, wow, it took more than 50 years to finally reach this staircase. My first live gig as a lead singer. As I made my way onto the stage, the blinding spotlights, the roar of the crowd, and a wall of heat instantly took me back to the blazing hot alley. It was the summer of '64, and my brothers were on the prowl. I'm Batman, shrieked my 8-year-old brother Luke as he tied the blue bath towel around his shoulder. "And I'm going to kill you, Joker." Mark, my other brother, who was 7 at the time, was portraying Batman's arch rival. He nearly escaped Luke's lunge. Mark was never given a choice as to whether he was Two-Face, the Penguin, or the Joker. But he was never, ever Robin, the friendly sidekick. My 9-year-old sister, Mimi, was the exact opposite. "Open your mouth and say, ah," she instructed 4-year-old me. Dressed as a nurse with a white bonnet in her hair, She was so gentle as she tenderly took care of me, her miniature patient in a batsuit. "Oh, yes, we definitely need to give you some cough syrup." The sun was unbearably hot as another heat wave hit Montreal. It was high noon on this particular sunny day, and there were no trees for us to take refuge under. We only had our dinky blue plastic pool to cool us off. The cicadas chirped in full harmony and everything was going smoothly until Batman and Joker veered across the yard and attacked us. "Leave us alone," Mimi hollered as she fell backward in the pool, splashing water everywhere. Taking advantage of the situation, Luke and Mark grabbed me and pushed me to the ground. I cried of pain from the skinning of my knees on the rough, pockmarked, scorching asphalt as crimson blood peeled down my leg. I shrieked even louder. It hurt like crazy, but truth be told, I was more scared of the neighbor's German shepherd barking over the fence at all the commotion. I will stop today. Thank you for being there with me. See you next week for the next part of chapter 1. Tell me if you enjoyed this reading. Tell me if you feel, I do want to produce an audiobook eventually, so you can tell me if you feel that me telling the story is adding something to the book. Lastly, if you would like to contribute in helping me to produce the audiobook or to translate the book in other languages so that it reaches more people around the world, then send me an email and I would take your donation very kindly to help spread my message. This is Guy Gia, author, Guy from Montreal, Mr. Happiness, the Snow Runner. I love you all. Have an amazing day and see you next week. Bye-bye.